What's going on, everybody? What is today? Tuesday, August 2nd. We've actually punched into August, which is absolutely crazy to me how fast time's going by. The topic today, I hope, is a fun one. I don't see it going super long, but I say that every now and then and we get distracted. I try not to be distracted. This topic is almost like classic CrossFit history, if you will. And this came about from, I can't remember what it was, a recent workout that I posted on Linchpin, and it was a 21-15-9 rep scheme, right? Classic. And one of the comments was, hey, I love the 21-15-9 rep scheme. Where did that come from? And I was like, that might be just a fun topic to get out there. So where did the 21-15-9 rep scheme that is so ubiquitous and almost just synonymous with CrossFit come from? I heard Greg Glassman tell this story many times, and so I feel, confident sharing it with some degree of accuracy. Greg was a rings guy, gymnastics rings guy in his former life, and he said that in the off season he was looking to create some sort of a routine, a fitness routine, a strength and conditioning routine, both, that would make his body feel in some way, shape, or form replicate the experience that he felt during a rings routine. Which I've never done a rings routine, but talking to him and other people, it sounds basically like you're doing Fran, like this short and sharp, head to toe, miserable, high intensity, every fiber of your body quivering sort of experience, which, isn't easily replicated. So he started playing with things in the off season to try to get as close to that as he could, because he figured doing that would make him a better rings guy when the next season rolled around. And so Fran was born. Played with a bunch of things until found the right loading for the thruster, and let's take this movement, let's go below parallel, and let's leg drive it overhead. Okay, and that's a nice weightlifting movement. Let's pair it with an upper body pull, and it was born, and rep schemes were played with, and little bit by little bit, the 21-15-9 rep scheme of both thrusters at 95 or 65 and pull-ups was created, and head-to-toe systemic devastation was delivered, and therefore mission accomplished. Now, the 21-15-9, and again I've heard this on many occasions, that came about because Greg was a math guy, always loved and enjoyed math, but also he landed on that rep scheme because it was useful and easily divisible. And so what I mean by that is, if you think about the initial round, the round of 21, that could be broken down into 3 sets of 7 will get you to 21, right? 7, 7, 7, then bang, you've done the 21. Or you could do 8, 7, 6, that would get you to 21. Or many other combos would get you to that first round of 21 being done. And then for the 15s, you could do that as 3 sets of 5. You could do it as 6, 5, 4. Other combinations as well, nice mathematical combinations, easily divisible, would get you to the 15. And then you see where we're going for the 9. You could do it as a 5 and a 4, or 6 and a 3, or 3 sets of 3. All are going to get you there. All are nice and easily divisible. And the work demanded with each new round decreased. And so that greatly aided in keeping the intensity of the athlete high and keeping the athlete moving, which are all good things. Now, one thing that I think in today's day and age it's important to consider with the 21-15-9 rep scheme, its history and the why behind it, I think holds true to this day. But I think people have lost sight of some very critical things. So all of that backstory that I just said as to why the 21-15-9 was a great rep scheme, it also gets you 45 reps of each, which is a beautiful overall quantity of work to do at a high intensity sort of an effort. One of the reasons that the rep scheme was chosen had nothing to do with doing the unbroken. That was never mentioned in any of the history. Well, I picked the 21-15-9, because you got to be able to do it unbroken. No, that was not in the consideration in any way, shape, or form. However, these days, I feel like that has crept into people's minds, especially on a 21:15:9 couplet. I'll post that, and inevitably somebody will ask, okay, here I see the 21:59 couplet that's posted for today, but I can't do it unbroken, so what should I do? I get that question all the time. And the response is, you should break it up. That's what you should do. You should feel absolutely zero pressure to do it unbroken. Just because it's a 21:59 couplet, just because it's short and sharp, nothing about that was intended to be unbroken, the overwhelming majority of the time coming from the roots of where this all started. Now, that of course should come with some disclaimers, right? Like if somebody says I can't do the 21:59 unbroken, what should I do? And I say you should break it up. That of course all goes along with the common sense disclaimers of assuming that whatever the loading is, you can safely handle. Whatever the movements are, you have the capacity with the technique to do it in a safe and appropriate manner, that the overall volume of the workout is not too much. All of those common sense disclaimers should just consider them always in play. So then we go back to, well, 21:59, I can't do it unbroken, what should I do? You should break it up. That's totally okay. But these days I feel like if somebody's like, okay, it's a 21:59, I'm going to have to do the first set of 21 in 7/7/7. Nope, forget it. I'm gonna modify it in some way or lighten the load, because doing that first set of 21 in 3 sets of 7, that seems crazy, right? Everyone does things unbroken these days. It would be amazing if people got that out of their head. Get it out of your head. Don't feel the need to do it unbroken. You doing, as long as you can safely do it, again, right, the common sense disclaimers, doing that first set of 21 as 3 sets of 7 is going to get you strong. It's going to get you fitter and faster. It is both a strength and conditioning routine. And if by the time you get around to the 15s, you're obviously a little fatigued and you don't just blitz through the 15s, there are 6/5/4 or 3 sets of 5, that's great. That's fantastic. That's going to get you fitter, faster, and stronger. And same deal once you get to the 9s, etc., etc. So, are there 21:15:9 workouts that these days people can do unbroken? Absolutely. Of course. Yes, without question. And that's great. But that's certainly not where most people started. Okay? And so that's very important to remember. Allow yourself to break these things up. There's nothing wrong with that at all, and it's going to be really beneficial for you. And I don't want people to think that there's some need to do these things unbroken. That's not required, and it's not even normal. Okay? So don't put that pressure on yourself. It is false. Now, here's going to be a statement that I'll make that is not intended to be harsh, and it's overly simplified, and we could unpack it a whole lot, but it is related to this 21:59, always feeling the need to do something unbroken. If I can't do the workout unbroken, should I do something else? And this is apropos because the CrossFit Games begin this week. A lot of people would benefit if they paid less attention to Games athletes. There. I said it. And I say that as having a huge number of friends and colleagues who are Games athletes and who I know and who I like very, very much. The overwhelming majority of people would probably have a better fitness experience and make better decisions for themselves and where they are on their fitness journey if they disregarded what Games athletes did on a regular basis. Again, that's an oversimplification. It could be unpacked a whole lot more with the nuance. I hope you understand it. If you don't, maybe we'll chat more about it a little bit later on. It's all about making the best decision for where you are on your fitness journey. And that includes educating yourself, ideally through these Linchpin Conversations that we do. Potentially maybe, the Very Not Random podcast that I do with Adrian Bosman, good old CrossFit Journal articles, wherever is your good source of actual truth to help you make good decisions. Embrace that stuff. Now again, hey, don't get me wrong, games are fantastic. I look forward to watching some on YouTube every now and then. over the course of the week. It's cool to see what human beings can do. I get it. Rah, rah, rah. It is actually awesome. That's genuine. I do truly mean that. However, whatever they do or don't break up, whatever loading they do or don't lift, I don't care at all when I walk into my garage to work out. I do not care at all what they did. I care what's the workout that I need to do today based upon what I've done the last few days, what makes sense. Should I go below parallel? Should I go overhead? Should I pull from the ground? Should it be short? Should it be long? Should it be body weight? Should it be light? Should it be heavy? And then based upon those factors, do I need to scale or modify it in any way, shape, or form to make the best decision for where I am? And that is how we move forward day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year in a happy, healthy, and strong manner in which your knees, back, and shoulders continue to feel good and you're not burned out mentally. All these things are in our control. So, all tied back to the original question of what's the backstory on the 2159 rep scheme? Where did it come from? And like I said, one of the key things was it was never intended as, hey, I picked this rep scheme because it has to be unbroken. Nope, that wasn't in the consideration. It was actually quite the opposite. The rep scheme was picked because those numbers were easily divisible so the athlete could break it up. So, good to know. So that's it. Have a wonderful day. Hope everybody enjoys the workout today. As we say at Linchpin, we do what is effective, not what's popular. And today is exactly that. We're sprinting. So enjoy the sprints.